All right, good morning, guys. How you guys doing today? It is Tuesday. Government still shut down. AMD still in focus. AMD dipped a lot from yesterday's highs, but it did rebound a little bit this morning. Gold is at roughly 4,000. It tapped 4,000 in gold futures early this morning and late last night. Tapped 4,000. You can see it there. I told you guys gold won at 4,000. NASDAQ is slightly red on the day, very slightly red. Its previous closing price was 25,184. It's at 25,176, so it's slightly red today. Again, equity futures are slightly lower. A bit of a pullback after the rally yesterday. S&P NASDAQ hit record highs. Record closing highs yesterday, driven by AI deals. We had the big deal by AMD and OpenAI yesterday. Today, the moves are a little bit more cautious. We got a little bit of a pullback and stuff. Gold's, again, at all-time highs. People are worried about stretched valuations, uncertainty over macro data, geopolitical noise, the government shutdown, all that stuff. Globally, stocks and bonds are trying to keep steady amid the stuff going on in France and Japan. Again, OpenAI, AMD deal continues to power investor interest, of course. Constellation Brands is getting attention. It gained in pre-market after strong results. We got Tesla in focus. Tesla teased product developments or announcements, rumors, adding volatility to pre-market. Shell is notable. It flagged a large impairment after canceling a biofuels project which may ripple through energy. If you look at oil stocks, oil is at 61.70s right now. But because the government shut down, most of the data releases that we normally get are delayed. I think including the import-export data that we would have gotten today, the trade balance data. We do have some Fed speakers today, and I think a lot of people are speculating that since the government shut down and we don't get any economic data, attention is going to focus on some of these Fed speakers. You know, a lot of people, even AI thinks that a correction might happen. It says a pullback or consolidation is a credible risk, especially if growth expectations are challenged. So we will see what that means here. Credible risk, especially if growth. Yeah, we got the IBM deal with OpenAI. I saw that IBM shares are up 7.5% following. It's not OpenAI, it's Anthropic's for IBM. Pretty sure. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's Anthropic, not Anthropics. Anthropic. Amazon backed Anthropic to integrate Claude into software portfolio. Look at IBM is up on that deal. It's at 306s right now. Not the biggest gain for it. I mean, it's up, you know, a couple percent for sure, but IBM's up some. It's not the biggest move for IBM really. We got AMD got upgraded after the big rally. Analysts at Jefferies upgraded AMD to a buy after the chip maker surged on a pact with ChatGPT maker OpenAI. We got this huge short squeeze SPRB that a lot of people are looking at this morning. That it hit 350. This is a wild short squeeze. Look at this thing, man. I'm not freaking touching this thing. This thing's wild. The float has got to be tiny. Like, this has got to be a super small float, I'm assuming here. Let me see if it says. Company said the US FDA grants breakthrough therapy tag for its experimental drug. Not an investment professional. Before I even talk about these crazy things, not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. Don't copy me. I have no idea what I'm talking about half the time. Don't do it. Don't copy me. With that said, they got the breakthrough therapy tag from the US FDA. This is meant to speed up development and review of drugs to treat serious conditions. Oh, dude, my knee hurts, man. Oh. But yeah, AppLovin is getting probed by the SEC over data collection. US is going to take a 10% stake in Trilogy Media to unlock Alaska mining. What's up, chat? What's up, Rob, Marco, CJ, B, Marcus, Ray, Ryan, Pawn, Martin, Naps, Sin, Ed, Farmer, B, Arif, Juan, Gob, another Marco. Hey, what's up, guys? Good morning. How many Marcos we got in chat today? I think we got at least 3. Dr. Crypto, what's up, man? All right, let's do a poll here. What's the poll? I think now that gold has tapped 4,000, does it pull back? I think that's a good polling question. Now that gold has tapped 4,000 an ounce in price, does it pull back now? Just a poll. Yeah, look at this thing. SPRB is wild. It's up there. All right, guys. But yeah, NASDAQ, if we look at it, is slightly red. Previous closing price 184s. We're at 181s. So very slightly red. Starting to go green. Here's the previous close. I'll put this up on the screen. 184 even. 25, 184 even. This is the previous closing price. Make this green. And raise the station. There you go. All right, so that's the previous closing price, 184 even right here on the NASDAQ. We are close to that right now. Again, AMD still in focus. A lot of people are going to be watching AMD. AMD has held most of the gains it's made. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at it to see if it makes another move back up to retest that high of the that all-time high level again, because it never really got back up there. Daily spoke this morning, the Fed's daily. They said, this is basically what they said a couple minutes ago. They said, cautions against thinking all bubbles are financial. I am not seeing evidence of massive job replacement from AI. AI bubble not a threat to financial stability. AI could make country more productive. And I see more tech in place of hiring as the economy slows. Okay, what does he mean by that last statement? It sounds like he contradicts the first 3 statements he made. Basically, the AI is not a threat to financial stability. AI could make the country more productive. I'm not seeing evidence of job replacement. And then the next time, I see more tech in place of hiring as the economy slows. That sounds like technology is going to replace hiring, which contradicts his first statement. I don't know. I don't know if I'm reading that right. Yeah, we got Hurricane Priscilla. Category 2. I'm from Louisiana, so naturally I'm going to watch this. But it's on the other side of Mexico, so I think we're good. Could hit Cali. It keeps going up, but I don't think so. Is that the only hurricane out there right now? Dude, honestly, Texas needs to skip a year. Alright, looking at our poll numbers, 51%, 55%, 57% say no. It does not pull back. 41% say yes. He doesn't think existing employees will be replaced by AI, but it could greatly slow new hiring. I think we'll see a run over 4K, even for just a short bit, to grab some stops that'll probably sit in between 4 and 410. Possibly. Yeah, spot gold hasn't hit 4,000 yet. Okay, so here's an interesting stat that just showed up. So JP Morgan Treasury Client Survey, week ending 6th of October, so yesterday. All clients survey shows fewest net longs since October 28th of last year in 2024. Active clients show fewest net longs since May 15th of 2023. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to long where we're at now. It's too it's risky. GLTO. Yeah, look at GLTO this morning, up from 370 to 3070s. 10x. So GLTO 10x. Yeah, 10x, big move. At least we got some stuff to cover for the next few days. We got the Fed minutes tomorrow. We got Jerome Powell doing a speech Thursday. Friday, we got Michigan data at least. We got something. Yeah. No jobless claims. Bunch of Fed speakers, though. Is the market open on Columbus Day? I hope it's not, personally. You know, take a day off. Major U.S. stock markets, New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are open. Bond market's closed. Give me a day off, man. I'd love a day off for Columbus Day. No? Alright. Yeah, there's a lot of Fed speeches, and a lot of people are speculating that these Fed speeches are going to have more weight from the government shutdown. You know, we don't know which way the government shut down, so we're not getting any economic data, right? But a lot of people are speculating that, like, Bostic speaking at 10, Bowman speaking at 10:05, Moran speaking at 10:45, Kashkari speaking at 11:30, Stephen Moran speaking. A lot of people are speculating that since we're not getting economic data, everybody's going to kind of pivot to watching what these Fed guys are saying. Tomorrow we do have the FOMC minutes report at 2 p.m., so we're going to cover that for sure. Kashkari speaking again, Barr, Lusalem. I don't know how much they're going to be talking about markets though. But we got Jerome Powell here as well, coming out Thursday, 8:30. You know, but we'll watch Jerome Powell's speech. Outside of that, Thursday's really the busiest day where we're gonna have like speakers in the morning. Michelle Bowman speaks at 8:45. Welcoming remarks at 8:35. Kashkari speaks at 12:45. But yeah, since economic data is closed, we gotta just wait. All right, guys. NASDAQ trying to go green on the day. I'm still watching AMD. I know these penny stocks are running big and squeezing. Curious to see what AMD does. Nvidia's back up to 186s here. It's green on the day, and it did rebound a little bit yesterday, but it hasn't moved that much. So I'm watching Nvidia to see what happens there. Here's the previous closing price on the NASDAQ. We're looking at that. You think Columbus would want you to have a day off? Personally, I do. I think he would want me to have a day off. You know. I don't know. Let me know right now in chat. Would he? Wells Fargo raises Microsoft price target to 675. Microsoft up there, but yeah, Wells Fargo's raised price target to 675 from 650, raised AMD price target 275 from 185, Meta price target 837 from 811, Alphabet price target 236 from 187, UNH price target to 400 from 260s, Humana price target from 340s to 344, Elevance Health. So yeah, Wells Fargo coming out raising price targets this morning. NASDAQ now officially green on the day, over this previous closing price level at 25,183. So we'll look for some trades. I need longer term trades though. It's been a little choppy. NASDAQ at 25,187. Still pushing up some. Is it NVIDIA? Let's see what else. NVIDIA's moving up. Apple's not. Meta. That's kind of moving up. Microsoft kind of. Healthcare maybe pushing markets higher. Wells Fargo, JP Morgan. Yeah, Bitcoin hit all-time highs yesterday. Bitcoin's still ripping. Gold tapped 4,000. Gonna invest in fencing? What do you mean fencing? In like sword fighting, or do you mean like building fences? Either one of those seems to be big markets, unless you're gonna. Where's Home Depot at? Speaking of, Home Depot's on a pullback. I don't mind Home Depot where it's at now. What's the PE ratio? 26 to 27. I might buy Home Depot right here. Down enough for me to take a small position. Alright. Building fences? Yeah. Yeah, if we take a look at bond yield, let's take a look. Bond yields. Yields are a little bit higher, actually. So if you take a look at yields, yields spiked the last few days, and they kind of keep spiking. So look at yields. Here's yesterday. Since yesterday they were at about 4.12%. Now they're at 4.17%. So yields are continuing to spike some here. 4.173%. We take a look at the Fed Watch tool, and this might change this week because we got Jerome Powell speaking a little bit. I don't know how much he's going to talk about markets. He's supposed to just give opening remarks to some type of conference, but we're still over 90%. Although we have seen these odds swing a little bit with higher yields, and so now we're getting a little bit less likelihood. This was at like 96. Now it's at about 93 to 7% odds of a 25 basis point cut this month. This is a pause. So still pretty likely we're going to cut rates next meeting, but it's not certain. Wait a minute. Somebody explain this news release to me. I got this news release just now, and it says, and again, I'm quoting news release. It says ICE will invest up to $2 billion in poly market. This, ow. Let me explain that news, that catalyst to me. Yeah, I saw the Trevor Lawrence play. They beat the Chiefs. Dude, I'm not the one. Look, I didn't come up with this. I don't know what this is talking about. Is this a mistake? Gotta be, right? Let me look this up. Yeah, it says ICE and Polymarket have also agreed to partner on future tokenization initiatives. Is there a different ICE than the one I'm thinking of? You know? Yeah, it's got to be a different coin. I assumed it wasn't the same one. It's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be. Because if not, you know, people are going to be unhappy. All right, anyways. NASDAQ dipping down. Really flat here, really flat. Bitcoin at 125, 360s. I don't know what to buy today. Today's kind of a weird day. We had this big run up by AMD yesterday from the OpenAI AMD news, and now we are pulling back a little bit, although AMD held most of these gains and is still pretty close to all-time highs. So you can certainly speculate that AMD is going to at least try to test these all-time high levels. I don't know for sure. All right, we're going to trade this Combine account for now, I think. It's early. Might as well, right? I'm going to buy a pullback here. For micro, so I guess we can do this. I have to take some larger size. This is a Combine account, by the way, chat. Don't judge me too much. I can go big size here. Here's the previous closing price. I'm basically just hoping we bounce right here. If we don't, I'll get out. AMD for a retest. Yeah, AMD's still pretty close to its all-time high levels, right? It got close to them yesterday, too. Gold is also right around 4,000, so you could probably speculate on like a gold dip here. I'm not saying to do that. I have no idea what you should do. Not an investment professional. But NVIDIA, yeah, NVIDIA is still holding some of its gains, too. All right, so we're flat here. Man, maybe I should have bought gold. A prop. What's up, BT? What's up, Dragos? Silver, yeah, silver's had a great run. With gold, really. Like, silver and gold had great runs. AMD upgraded at Jeffries, Dollar Tree downgraded, Home Builders downgraded at Evercore. Okay. See, we can break out of a tight range here. All right. A little bit of green here. Let me give it a second. I want to see if AMD continues to rise. We got a video up here. Bitcoin's around all-time highs. Copper looking strong too, yeah. Again, vote of the poll. We're pretty 50-50 split. Does gold pull back now that it's tapped 4,000? Where does spot gold get to? I know I got somewhere. 39.63 for spot. So many gold websites that tell you the spot price, but it's not easy to... What's the best website to check the spot price of gold? I'm showing 39.64s. I'm doing, yeah, 39.64s. NASDAQ's still chopping sideways, though. We'll wait. Apple, though. Ampex. ATMEX. Alright. Okay, I got it. Yeah, but this basically says we're at the same price as gold futures. So which price is correct? This says right now gold is at 982 to 987. Usually futures are a little bit higher. Alright, so a big turnaround in the NASDAQ here. Let me see if there's any news. I don't see anything. This is a combine account, by the way, so we're just kind of sitting tight. Bitcoin bonds. Yeah, they got us off the gold standard, unfortunately, and the precious metal standard for coins. They never did. We'd have much less inflation, unfortunately, but they did. NASDAQ is so choppy right now, though, unless I'm going to go at the top, buy the bottom. I like gold a little bit more. Gold seems more likely to move up there to test 4,000. So maybe I'll liquidate this and just wait. Why is gold ripping up like it is right now? Look at gold. Meta. Meta was upgraded this morning. Meta's pushing up. It's at 718.60s. Yeah, I heard about app getting probed by the SEC, right? Or something like that. Alright, so the Treasury Secretary Bessent taps Thor to perform duties of his deputy secretary. Is the news that just came out. Yeah, I did take a position in gold that I'm slowly scaling out of right now. So you. And 2 more contracts, so it's not the biggest risk. We already took some off here. Gold looks like it wants 4,000, but I can play this a little bit easier. We're basically flat on the day again. I go to cut it right here. We're basically flat now. I'm gonna look for a pullback on gold though. If we get a dip to like 85s gold futures, I might buy that. Yeah, the FOMC is interesting this time. FOMC is definitely interesting just because we don't have the data to guide the Fed, right? And a lot of people are going to be looking at the Fed members speaking and all that stuff. I think market will close down today. Maybe. It's up a lot. It broke all-time highs yesterday. So it's possible. Yeah, we don't have data. We were supposed to get today. If we didn't have the government shutdown, we would get the trade balance data, I think. Yeah, if we didn't have the shutdown, we get trade balance data, but everything's shut down right now. Yeah, the last time we shut down was like 2018, 2019, so it was like 7 years ago. I wasn't covering economic data then. I was probably trading penny stocks back then. So now we cover economic data. I don't know what the government is shut down, bro. They all need to figure it out. Get a deal done, you know? Bring back payrolls. I'm sure they're going to address it. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to address it. Any new or any member of FOMC will speak today. Yeah, we got some members speaking, but none anytime soon. Like, I think the first one's at 10 a.m. So, we got some Fed members speaking, but look, I'll show you. I think it's at 10. Yeah. So here's the calendar. We're supposed to get the trade deficit data. I don't know. Let me look this up. They're actually showing an expectation here, which means we might get it. Let me see. Yeah, so it's expected. Yeah, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA, has a media advisory stating that it is, quote, required to suspend operations, and this will include suspension of any economic data release that has been scheduled to occur while the federal government is shut down. Census Bureau also stated that most activities will cease, including the release of monthly economic indicators. Alright, so here's the gold dip that I was looking at. NASDAQ starting to rip up too. That's close enough. I'll start buying this dip. Like 5 here. Maybe add or down to like yeah, man, look at APP, app 11. Getting probed by the SEC. That news tanked it yesterday from 669s all the way down to 545s. I might buy the dip as like a discount dip buy. I'd have to look deeper into see what the actual numbers are of this company. Hey John, my bad if this was already asked, but do you think that Powell will be somewhat dovish on Thursday, considering that there's not so much data him and the Fed can go by right now? Possibly. That's what a lot of people are expecting. That's why the odds of rate cuts are so high now, is because I think the logic is, since we don't have data, we're gonna have to just use the previous data, right? And the previous data showed weakness in the labor market, a turning labor market. You know, we don't really have any updates to inflation or anything like that that might sway that path to the other way. And so I think that's what a lot of people are expecting. Now, it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. On Thursday, Powell speaks, but it's just opening remarks. We'll stream it. We're going to stream it live like we always do. But I don't know how much he's actually going to say about economics and outlook. I don't know how much. All right, so we're going to add another little piece to this here. I just don't know how much he's going to say about economics. You know, so we will see. There we go. Got a nice little pop up here. Take some off there. Off there. Liquidate another couple. We'll hold the last two. Look at the NASDAQ rip here. Yeah, we're green on the day now. NASDAQ's pushing up. Is at 25.2s. The NQ rip. I wonder if this is AMD related. AMD's up there. Meta is running up, right? Yeah, it could be Meta. Apple. Man, look at the NASDAQ rip. 25.2s. Where's all-time highs? 25.250 is all-time highs on the NASDAQ here. It's getting close. Yeah, I'm going to take this off and then go back to the NASDAQ here. Look at the NASDAQ pump. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this music here. Hey, what's up, Sam? 13,300 away from being able to pay off the house. Then I need an extra 25K for taxes. Hey, good luck, man. Yeah, NASDAQ's pumping right now. I don't really see any updates here. NASDAQ very green. Tesla. I mean, Tesla's moving up. It's still red on the day. I would say maybe it's Meta. Meta's been breaking highs this morning. It's at 718 now. It's kind of dipping down some. Not the most liquidity for Meta, but it doesn't really move that much in pre-market. It could also be like healthcare stocks. United Health is up. Gold. AMD's climbing back up. A lot of people may be speculating that AMD is going to break its all-time high up there at what, like 227, I think is the all-time high for AMD. Look how split we are on gold. Interesting. All right, so central banks may hold Bitcoin by 2030, according to Deutsche Bank. Economists say Bitcoin could join gold on central bank balance sheet by 2030 as its role as a reserve asset strengthens. They cite growing legitimacy, deeper liquidity, and clear regulation. Although Bitcoin's volatility remains a concern, it has fallen to record lows. With its scarce supply and independence from governments, Bitcoin could offer diversification and act as a hedge against inflation and geopolitical risk. US-led adoption could help it move beyond a speculative asset, according to them. So that news is coming out. Bitcoin, again, around all-time highs right now. Gold futures ripping. All right, look at the NASDAQ still pushing at 205. Gold's still ripping up as well. Gold's getting very close to all-time highs. Yeah, I mean, my indicator on a 5-minute chart, man. Look at this for gold. Like, I'm taking a look at this. I haven't really looked at gold on a 5-minute chart. It really depends on what you're looking at. But look at this. Check this out, right? Here's my gold indicator. On the bottom here. Nice little rebound on a 5-minute chart. I'd have to lower risk, I think, but nice little pullback here. Nice little pullback here. Right at the bottom. Bounce. Bounce. Yep. This one maybe didn't work, but it actually did. It came down to here, so this one called the bottom again. I'll have to check like during market opens. This one didn't. Maybe. Pullback maybe some. Bottom. These maybe no. Worked. This one worked. Dipped. This didn't. Did. This didn't. Did. I have to go back and test this a little bit more on gold. Gold might trend a little bit better, it looks like. Like, these are bottom, top, bottom, bottom, top, bottom. This one didn't. I mean, it looks like it works more than it doesn't. Look at the NASDAQ, guys, just tearing up one. How many green candles in a row have we have on the NQ? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 green candles in a row on the NASDAQ here. All right, so NBH chief economist says inflation expectations are declining very slowly. A lot more work needed to curb inflation expectations. Carlyle Group proprietary U.S. economic indicators show underlying U.S. economic growth in September running at 2.7% annualized pace. What's up, Bear? Hey, I appreciate you watching, man. Thanks, sir. Appreciate you lurking here. Even if you don't chat, it's all good. Nice call on gold. Yeah, I mean, gold's so close to 4,000. I think that's what it wants. It already tapped it in gold futures. Depends on which one you're looking at. Lip Chef. You also have Tesla. Yeah, app getting probed by the SEC is what it is. It's back up to green on the day, though. It's almost at $600, but it got dumped yesterday. Ugh. Oh, you're talking about my 39.85 pullback. Gold probably, yeah. I mean, IBM up 4%. They did a deal with Anthropic. This is what happened. They're not up. I mean, they're up a couple percent, but they're up like 3%. Look at all these green candles, though. I would assume we're going to pull back here. I almost want to short the NASDAQ. I know it's not really natural, but I'm going to short it up here in my challenge account. Play with it. We've had like 16 green candles in a row. I'm just going to assume we pull back now. Green on the day, don't copy me. It's a challenge account. I'm just horsing around on it right now. Look at NVIDIA. This is NVIDIA rising up here too, dragging the NASDAQ higher. Again, challenge account, don't copy me. How is Tesla gonna announce an event same day? They're not gonna actually schedule the event. Yeah, so yesterday Tesla teased on October 7th, which is today, an event in which investors and analysts anticipate unveiling of a more affordable vehicle. All right, so we got a little dip here. We're not in the biggest position though, but we'll hold. I think we're at least gonna have a red candle. Yeah, Tesla, in a 9-second video posted on social media, Tesla showed a vehicle with its headlights illuminated in a dark setting. It's at an event Tuesday, 10/7. Bro, how are you gonna have an event and not have a schedule for it, though? Yeah, I don't really see any event. I mean, they didn't really schedule it. Tesla shows a $28,000 car that'll jump 7%. Yeah, maybe. You think they can get a Tesla done for 28K though? I don't think so. Maybe. Maybe they get it done, I don't know. There we go. I'm gonna take some off there. We got in almost at the top, but it's not a big move. Maybe NASDAQ will pull back to like 200s. I'm gonna go to maybe cut it here. $29,990 model Y2. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be under 30. Even if it's 35, I still think that feels. NASDAQ now dipping down here. NASDAQ's close to all-time highs as well, but look at gold. Gold's edging. Look at 4,000 right here on gold. And gold tapped 4,000, so you can tell people are like, this is how you know people watch gold futures. Because here's 4,000. Look at all these taps here. We tapped it once, twice, 3 times. So people are watching 4,000 level on gold. Hey, y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. We got 700 here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Not really any big news. Everybody's kind of waiting for the Fed meeting. We got the Fed minutes report tomorrow. See what gold does here, though. Might risk one of these challenge accounts. See if gold like taps 4,000 sometime soon. It's right there. Could be a cheaper model. Gold's very close to 4,000. I think it wants 4K though. See if it hits. Roadster. Roadster would be cool, man. I'd like to see the Roadster, but kind of waiting for that now. Sounds like the McDonald's song. The McDonald's song? Could be. Palantir, where's Palantir at? I know Palantir got pushed back a little bit. It's back up to 180, so it filled about half the gap. I think while the government is closed, there's just a massive liquidity grab. Yeah, I mean, last time the government closed, they did the same thing, where we pushed down leading into the shutdown, and then during the shutdown, NASDAQ, S&P, tech went up. And so it's buy the rumor, sell the news, where shutdowns, leading into the shutdown, markets go down, and then afterwards, markets run a little bit. That's what happened last time. In this bull market, almost every position is green. It makes me want to catch heavy sooner. Yeah, I think a lot of people are skeptical to buy up stuff right now, really. I really do. I think a lot of people are nervous about buying up stuff. Yeah, but what I'm saying though, that's my point. Like gold hasn't tapped 4,000 on spot, but this shows people are paying attention to futures, is what I mean. So like when you look at gold right here, what does this show? It shows people are watching gold futures, right? If we go up to exactly 4,000 and tap it 3 times in a row, hey bud, love you, man. Hey, Daddy. Have a good day at school, dude. Hey, math test. Bro, you ready? Better be ready, bro. But yeah, this shows that people are watching 4,000 on gold right now. Like if you look at it. It shows people are watching gold futures, that is. Closest to math I get. Listen, that's what I'm here for, bro. He's got a math test. My job is to make sure. He's smart at math. Jack is too good at math. To a point in which Jack will, like, to the point at which Jack will be calculating the math in his head. Like, they'll be like multiplying fractions. And I'm trying to get him to do the work, to write the work out, because he'll look at it and be like, the answer's 3.5. And I'm like, well, I know the answer's 3.5, bro. You got to do the work. If not, you'll never be certain if you don't do the work. You know? And so that's the problem with Jack, is that he doesn't want to solve it because he can look at it and figure out what the answer is, and that's a good skill to have. But I try to tell him, like, look, bro, you got to do the work, because if not, you might think you got the right answer in your head. You might be off by just a little bit, but you know. Yeah, I mean, I was okay at math. My problem is math is a lot of memorization. So with math, you got to memorize a bunch of formulas. It's mostly memorization. You're like, okay, this is how you do it. And so that's what math really is memorization. And I was never into it enough when I was young to memorize the formulas. Now today I'm into it because math helps you make money now. You know, poker, you know, all kind of stuff. Math is useful. But back when I was his age, Try to make me sit down and do that stuff. All right, gold's still pushing up. Again, I'm in gold right now. I'll show you my gold position. Still kind of slowly taking profit off of this. We're up about 300 now. Again, I'll probably sit on the rest. We got 6 contracts left. Give it time. I think it wants 4,000. It's close enough to 4,000. Music's a little bit too techno-y for me, to be honest. I like some electronic music. It's not bad, but all right, we're gonna cut some of this. We're still up hundreds. I don't want to let it go against me here. I still think it might go up, so I'll let the rest sit. NASDAQ looks like you can buy it right now. I'm not telling you to buy it, not an investment professional. NASDAQ looks like it might be a little, there might be a dip here. NASDAQ up here. Here we go for gold. I think a little bit off up there. All right, my NASDAQ trade bouncing back a little bit here. We'll take some of that off. I'm in the NQA in gold right now. I have like a hedge position, I think, but here we go. And the NASDAQ, I'm going to take the rest off of the NASDAQ there. And then I'm going to move back to gold, which looks like it's doing good too. Take one more off up here, lock it in, maybe add some more. Yeah, I wish they would teach taxes and all that stuff. But yeah, that 200 bounce. That's why I say it looked like a good dip to buy, and I did actually buy it on the back end here. I'll cut this and then look to buy another pullback maybe. Gonna be an AI prompting class before a finance class. Yeah, I mean now you could use AI to teach you all kind of stuff. All right, and I don't think we get trade deficit data today. It's supposed to come out today, but I just don't think. No. Yeah, y'all do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're moving towards 8:30. APP is running back up. AMD is still very sideways. Look how sideways AMD is here. Like, it ran up big, and now it's just kind of chopping sideways. We don't really have any big news to influence markets. We got some Fed speakers. Kind of quiet. All right, guys. So yeah, AMD. Sideways. Bank of America, U.S. equity strategist. McCormick says it's facing cost pressures in 2026. Low middle income households are making more trips with smaller baskets, choosing larger pack size and cooking at home. A lot of healthcare was upgraded today too. I don't know when Tesla's product release is coming out. They didn't really specify, from my understanding here. Yeah, everybody says it's peak euphoria. A lot of people are not choosing to buy. I wish Tesla scheduled this event. They just didn't. All right, we're now dipping down. We're at 3992s here. Good gold. Pulling back. I wanted to buy it a little bit lower, but that's all right. I think a lot of people are buying these dips up. We'll look for a larger dip, maybe to 80s. Small enough, and we got a large enough cushion. All right, so one company reportedly looking to sell new debt in the U.S. IG primary market on Tuesday, according to Bloomberg, citing a survey of underwriters noted weekly bond sales are expected to remain subdued for the rest of this week. All right, so I'm buying gold as it pulls back here. We got a large cushion on the day. There we go. We're going to take a piece off, most of it off. Here, we're up well over 300 now on this. That dip just got bought up. That. I'm going to cover it right here. That's kind of best case scenario. See if we can do to consolidate up there. NASDAQ still edging higher here. All-time high is now 253s on the NQ. Yeah, surprise event is the weird thing. Like, I don't know what we're gonna get with the surprise event, but that's the strange thing. And again, we don't have any economic data at 8:30 to watch here, unfortunately. Again, Bitcoin getting higher here. Look at Bitcoin rising right now. Bitcoin futures all-time higher, 127s here. I look at like trading view. All-time highs on the new Bitcoin price are 126, 270s. 2670s for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's getting up there. Still rising back. at all-time highs. Yeah, it's supposed to be a surprise event. We're also supposed to have import-export data, but I don't think we're getting it right now. Like we normally would get this stuff, but I don't think we're getting it. We do have Fed speakers. Consumer inflation expectations for September coming out at 11 o'clock today. Maybe that'll be more relevant. Kashkari speaking at 11:30. Bowman speaking at 10:05. Bostic speaking at 10. But I don't know how much they're going to move things, or I don't know how much interest there's going to be around that. Government's still shut down. We're waiting for it to resume. All right, gold dipping down pretty heavily here. I'm going to buy this up now. We've got a $300 cushion on the day. Over $300. And so we should be able to take some risk here. I'm going to go big size here on this pullback. See if we get a retracement bounce back up. There we go. There we go. I'm going to take half off there. Or no, not a half, but... if gold keeps pushing the big retracement, I'm going to take third. Go. A bit more. Still think it might bounce. I'm going to hold the rest. S&P launches new crypto index consisting of 15 crypto and 35 crypto-related stocks. That came out 11 minutes ago. I don't see any other news that might move markets like this. Everything else is pretty quiet. Oh man, we did get that bounce on gold that we wanted. Okay. About 400 on the day now. Get a little bit more, but... with these smaller positions, yes. Yeah, I don't know what time Tesla release is coming out. I really don't know. He just teased it. He said October 7th. We don't know what time it's going to be, what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, or anything. Fortunately. Hey, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. I appreciate it. We got over 100 likes. I'm going to cut the rest right here and just end that green on this position and just wait. I think it'll bounce more, though. Here's the NASDAQ. All-time high on the NQ again is at 50. These? 3? Yeah. All-time high on the NQ. We were at 210s. NASDAQ is up there. I think it's probably driven by NVIDIA rebounding here too. I saw NVIDIA bouncing back up some this morning, but it stabilized. Meta is pushing up a lot this morning too. Or at least it was the last time I looked at it. I'm pretty sure it still is. AMD's edging a little bit higher here. Look at the NASDAQ bounce. Oh, things are still pretty quiet this morning. There's not a lot of crazy action here. Got some interesting movements in gold though. Here's gold. I don't think we're going to get any import-export data today. I mean, you never really know, though. Yeah, last shutdown was 35 days. We're on, what, day 7 of this shutdown? Day 7, yeah. So, we're getting up there. Looking at markets here, like if we take a look at markets, they have a government shutdown priced in. Last time I looked, it was they priced it in at 3 weeks. At this point in time, 64% think more than 15 days. Again, we are on day 7 as of now. Most people think over 15 days. That would be 64%. 48% think over 20 days. 33% think over 25 days. How long do y'all think the shutdown will last? I hope it's short, but I'm not super optimistic it's going to be, personally. Like, I hope it's short. I don't think it's going to be short, though. Alright, so we got into another gold position here. We're up, but I don't know if it's going to hold. I like the consolidation here. Around 4,000, but we'll see. Yeah, so the last shutdown. Hey, I love you. Yeah, the last shutdown, Pawn's telling me, was 35 days because it happened on December 21st, and Congress went out of session and New Year's break and didn't come back until mid-January, I think. So that's what a lot of people are speculating to have driven the time frame up. I hope it's not that long, I really do, but you never know. Here's 8:30. There's 8:30. I don't think we get import-export data. But this is 8:30 release right here. 3+ weeks. Yeah, so there's 8:30. I don't think we're getting any economic reports today. We got some stuff tomorrow. We got like the Fed minutes report, which might be even more important than normal, just because of we don't have any economic data, so we're going to be looking at what the Fed thought, all that stuff. All right, I'm going to liquidate a little bit more here because we're up pretty big. There we go. We're up about 500 now. I mean, I think the long side's been pretty easy. I'm going to just get out the rest break even here. I think the long side's pretty easy to predict with gold. It doesn't mean it's going to test it, but we've just kind of been buying dips. Yeah, but it's not, the data's not just going to be blindly released here, right? Like, the data's not just going to blindly come out. Like, what's going to happen is, like, the government's going to get resumed, and then they're going to schedule the data, right? And so government is going to resume. It's not like, boom, the government's resumed and they're just going to start flooding the market with data. It's going to kind of be like that, but it's going to more so be in a situation in which the government resumes and they schedule the data. So it's like the government resumes, they schedule the data for Friday, and then the next week they schedule the next payroll data for the next Friday. You know, it's going to look like that. It's not going to be, hey, government's back, here's all the data that you missed in one sitting. At least I don't think it's going to be like that. And historically, it hasn't been like that. So forever? Yeah, I hope not. All right, Dell says outlook on long-term annual revenue growth between 7 and 9%. Previous was 3 to 4%. Adjusted diluted EPS growth of 15% or better. Reaffirms fiscal year outlook for Q3. NASDAQ's now popping up on this news. Look at this. I don't know if this is Dell news, but NASDAQ is still edging higher, closer to all-time highs. Canada imports rose 0.9% in August, led by gold. Canada trade surplus with U.S. narrows to 6.4 billion Canadian from 7.4 billion. Canadian trade balance data came out, negative 6.32. The government shut down. So we have some data this week, but it's not government data, right? Like, we cover all of this stuff. So Wednesday, we have the Fed minutes report. Federal Reserve is independent of the government. And so Wednesday, we do have the Fed minutes report. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. We'll cover that. We'll stream it live. Thursday, we get Jerome Powell speaking at 8:30. Yeah, so what happened last time the government shut down is that when they resumed, the previous reports were released 5 days after the shutdown ended on the next normal release day for those reports. So. Are your stream titles a bit clickbaity? Not more than normal. Tell me what's wrong about my title. Will the markets hold? Question mark. Government shutdown. FOMC's blind right now. They don't have the economic data they need. Gold. Yeah, I mean, gold up close to 4,000. We'll see what happens. Yeah, usually my titles are just about the economic reports. We don't have the economic reports now, so we're just kind of sitting here waiting for the government to resume to get the economic reports that we normally cover. A little boring for me. Like I said, I want the government to resume, if I'm being honest. And I think if you click my stream, we talk about what's in the title. We've been talking about the government shutdown, markets, all that stuff. But here's gold, still pushing up. Still pushing up. Let's see if it holds. Yeah, Canadian trade balance data. Fannie Mae Home Purchase Sentiment Index is down 2.5 points year over year. Home Purchase Sentiment Index unchanged in September from August. So, and again, yields are higher today. They're higher. They're elevated. I see the NASDAQ 100 chart. Goldman Sachs upgraded to 4,900 for gold. Did they? Yeah, I think a lot of people think gold wants 4,000. And I do too. I think gold does as well. But Hard to capitalize on. Gotten rejected at 4,000 the last few times it got up there. That's the only question mark here about gold, is whether it can hold when it does. That's why our poll, I'm going to do another poll here. You should just use AI to predict these numbers. Maybe. I mean, we can look at like trueflation data for AI and stuff, or for inflation. Yeah, no, I said it yesterday. I don't know how they don't have somebody releasing this data. I think it's got to be just basic principle that they're mad about. You know, the reality of it is, hold on. All right, we're back in gold, and gold's ripping up here. Look at this. Okay, we're going to start liquidating. All right, we're now up 650, 660. Now maybe add to this a little bit here. But again, like, personally, they should have somebody that can click a freaking button, you know? And it's not even the entire government, it's just some of them are laid off right now. And so it's like, you can't have, like, they say it's non-essential people are laid off, right? But then they also say that we don't have anybody to release the data. I would assume the people who release the data should be considered essential, considering that's what's guiding the Federal Reserve and everything, and their interest rate decisions and everything else. And so I don't know why they don't have people to release the data during shutdown. Again, I think it's just principle. They're like, we're mad, we're not going to release the data. And so maybe that's what it is. I don't know. I think they should release the data. I think it's important to. I think that should be deemed essential. But I'm not steering them over there, you know. Gold up to 994 is almost to 4,000. Getting very close. I wonder if 995 is going to act as resistance, though. AMD edging a little bit higher. It's at 212s. We'll hold the rest of this break even. Join the Fed share. John the Fed share. Honestly, man, I told you guys I thought we should cut rates a couple meetings ago. People argued with me, and then we got really weak labor data, and now I think most people think we should cut rates. But top 3 most wrong person ever right now. NASDAQ's popping up. NASDAQ's getting very close to all-time highs. I'll liquidate my gold position here and just wait now. Up 650 on the day. I haven't been wrong much about the direction, but it's pretty easy to make money on the upside with gold right now, like I said. Yeah, I don't know if the shutdown's making gold run. It could be for sure, but again, shutdowns mostly have to do with political posturing. Both sides are going to say, we want these things done. You know, they're going to try to look like they're really fighting for stuff. And, you know, it's just political posturing to me. Both sides. I think this, from my understanding, I think the right doesn't want the shutdown, and and that they're threatening if we don't get a deal done that they're going to start laying off people, and then the left wants the Affordable Care Act, you know, subsidies in there, is what I think is going on with this one, and neither side will budge, you know. And so we're kind of in this neutral area where deadlocked, nobody wants to get a deal done, and a lot of political posturing going on. Applied Digital didn't really move that much though. APLD app is volatile right now. App 11 got probed by the SEC. It dipped to 587s, back up to 608s now. That one got bought up. I think silver, precious metals typically follow gold, but all right, Goldman Sachs. Yeah, I'm seeing the report about Goldman Sachs reaching 4,900 by late next year. They expect gold to hit 4,900 an ounce by December of next year, driven by central bank buying and rising ETF demand. Am I looking at different gold futures? Everybody said, oh, gold futures hit $4,000 an ounce for the first time. Didn't this happen yesterday? Yeah, this happened yesterday. What's all these reporters talking about? I'm looking at gold futures right now. They're at 39.94. They're not quite at 4,000 yet. They hit 4,000 yesterday. Who's giving these guys this data? Did I miss something? Like midnight last night. All right, so gold's still rising. Gold gonna hit $4,000 an ounce again. It's close enough to be interesting here though for gold. Yeah, I saw that flip the stock market. I did see that. Yeah, Bitcoin very close to all-time highs. I wouldn't be shocked to see it continue to rip up. Now look at AMD start to push. NASDAQ probably starting to rip too here. And NASDAQ's getting close to all-time highs. 250, 275, basically just under 253 is the new all-time high that we hit earlier. Late yesterday, really, I should say. Like, I think gold's gonna make a push to 4,000 here, but I don't know when. Look at AMD. AMD just broke highs today, up to 213s now for AMD. Good AMD rip, guys. AMD pushing up here. 1380s, almost 214s. NASDAQ's pushing up. It's at 230s right now. NASDAQ's probably following tech. Here's the NASDAQ on the bottom right chart right here. AMD pushing up. Let's see what NVIDIA does with AMD. BlackRock is buying 967 million Bitcoin in Bitcoin. Your trading view chart's not moving, you might not have the data. You need to look at the NASDAQ. could be data related for TradingView. Yeah, I got a very small position in gold. I just want to see if gold taps 4,000 again right here. It's close. But I'm not going to take a huge position here. Sell off on Tesla. Yeah, Tesla is dipping down here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut this. Wait, we're still over 600. Don't trust it. NASDAQ still popping up. NASDAQ here. Yeah, I'm looking at Tesla news. I don't really see anything. Does it have to do with there goes gold, still popping up. Yeah, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We appreciate it. Tesla rebounding back up. It's at 448s. Gold's still very close to 4,000 here. We got another green trade on our funded account in gold. We bought this little dip to 995s. Now that we're so close to 4. See what we get. But look at gold. Here's 4,000 on gold. Let me put this lower here so you guys can actually see it. So like this is 4,000 on gold right here. Gold's very close. Getting up there. I think it at least test it now, being this close. I'm gonna end this poll here. We asked people, does gold tap 4,000? Does it pull back? Let's do another poll here. When does the government shut down? And 2 weeks, 3 weeks plus, 30 days plus. Something else. Comment. All right, vote on the poll. Is the poll now live? NASDAQ still ripping up. Gold's pulling back here. Look at the NASDAQ. All-time highs on the NASDAQ here, chat, are 253s. We are now at 240s here, so we are very, very close to all-time highs in the NQ. AMD is ripping up this morning. It's at almost 215.40s. NVIDIA is also climbing up, so AMD and NVIDIA are climbing up together a little bit this morning. This was driving the NASDAQ higher, closer to all-time highs. NASDAQ now at 244s, 245s. All-time high break coming on the NASDAQ probably today. Yes, yeah, we already answered. If your NASDAQ chart isn't moving on TradingView, it's probably because you have to pay for CME data on TradingView, I think. So you still shorting the market, Ramsey? Hold up there. right, so Tesla shares are down 1.1% ahead of Tuesday's event. Reuters says Tesla expected to unveil lower cost Model Y and push to reignite sales. Is it going to be an event or just an unveiling? Yeah. All right, gold tapped 4,000 to 140. Look at that. Gold tapped it. 4,000 to 140, new all-time highs in gold futures. NASDAQ getting very close to all-time highs here. Let's see what gold does, but it's up there. It hit it. So are you still in your shorts, Ramsey? I'm not saying you're wrong, but yeah. Hey, happy B-Day, Bob. Hopefully the government will not be shut down by then. 47% think the government shutdown ends after 2 weeks. We are now on day 7, so we got a week left. Again, next week we're supposed to have CPI inflation data. Problem. And so if that inflation data gets pushed, that's not good. Not good at all. Does anybody have a time for the Tesla event? I don't see a time. Gold generally moves in a macro way with equities, but it's not pegged to that correlation, and so like it can do anything. It can go up, it can go down. Depends on what's going on. The context is important with gold. So like in normal markets, gold generally moves up with equities. At least it has. But gold can also move inverse to equities if the catalyst is like uncertainty, like a government shutdown. But I hope so in bed regarding the government being shut down. Again, y'all check out Top Step if you haven't already. Great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money, so it's a lot cheaper to learn this way than fund your own account thousands of dollars. You're probably going to lose either way day trading, but it's a lot cheaper to lose on Top Step. Learn how to trade. Your risk is small. It's $50 a month. And if you pass it, you get a 50K funded account. If you fail it, you lose $50. They pay out millions, fund thousands. You can now reset your funded account with the same rules as normal funded accounts. They're just really useful. Most day traders lose 0 commission on Top Step X. You can trade gold, commodities, equities, equity indexes like S&P, NASDAQ, Dow. So it's just a great way to learn. But again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. But again, genuinely a good way to learn with less risk. All right, guys, we're going to be day trading the opening bell. Here's the link right here. I'll pin it to the top of the chat if you want to help support the channel. NASDAQ's still pushing here, guys. 250s right now. NASDAQ's going to break all-time highs, I think. All-time highs are right. Just to put this into perspective, all-time highs on the NQ are right here. This is all-time highs on the NASDAQ. Almost there. What if a delayed CPI is actually good for the market because the numbers are going to suck? I mean, it depends. High inflation will push back rate odds. And so if delayed CPI data means we're going to cut rates, or like we're going to stay with rate cuts. It can be good or bad. I mean, if we cut rates even though inflation's high, it's not necessarily a good thing, but a lot of people are going to argue this situation is again, it's nuanced for sure. All right, guys, so we basically just tapped all-time highs on the NQ. Didn't quite get there. Gold now up to 4,370 here. 4,370. Gold finally pulled it back. Let's see if it holds support at 4,000 now. It's right there. Heading into 9 o'clock. Gold at 4,002 right now. My NASDAQ just tested all-time highs, broke all-time highs, new all-time highs. 57 on the NQ, 57 on the NASDAQ here. Gold bouncing up a little bit in sympathy, maybe up to almost 4,370s. Goes to 30 cents. Yeah, IBM had a partnership with Anthropic. And gold hit $4,000 an ounce. Here's the NASDAQ testing all-time highs again here, 57s. Got up over all-time highs, slight tick, 50-cent tick up there. Now 57.50 all-time highs. NASDAQ getting rejected down here. Gold still very close to all-time highs as well. E-mini SPY at all-time highs also here at 672s. NASDAQ all the way up to 6150s now, 6150s. SPY ripping up to all-time highs as well. Tesla actually falling down still. Look at the NASDAQ's run here. Just to zoom out of this on the NASDAQ. Look at this run. Wow. Crazy move. Crazy move. Sort of scary with all-time high, but we need forward motion. I'm still on the we need a new chair, a new board. When's the last time we had this much interest and participation in the markets? The melt up is real. I mean, this is not the first time. NASDAQ still breaking all-time highs, 61s now. Gold consolidating sideways now that it broke 4,000 here. Nvidia is ripping up to 187s. All-time high in Nvidia, guys, is 191. So Nvidia getting closer up there. AMD still sitting $15 away from all-time highs here. If you look at AMD, NASDAQ still ripping up at 60. 5 even, all-time highs. I'm gonna break that now. Again. 550s. 66, all-time highs now. Yeah, I would just be careful shorting. I mean, maybe shorts here work, right? And everybody wants to be the next big short predictor. Everybody wants to be the next one that calls the next market crash. They watch the big short. They want to be contrarian. They say, oh, I'm going to be the next big shorter. And I get it. Most of the time when markets break all-time highs, they keep running, right? Long-term edge, markets are going to go up. And so isolating the times when markets don't hold and they correct big, you know, it's very difficult to do successfully. Very difficult. Most people are not going to be able to do that. And so just be careful shorting the healthiest things in the world in terms of investing, because there's risk certainly to do it. Gold now up to 4,640s here, broke all-time highs as well. And the longer you hold those positions, the less likely you are to make money in general. Why did the government shut down? Well, it's nuanced. Essentially, though, what's going on is that every year, for September 30th, two sides have to come together to agree on funding for the government. If they do, generally speaking, both sides use this opportunity to politically posture, throw stuff in, to look like they're working hard, get things done, right? Both sides do this. And so generally, in general, really realistically, it's just a way for both sides to kind of argue. Right now, it is over healthcare, the Affordable Care Act. The left's trying to use this opportunity to get subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. The right wants to wait and do that at a different time, and both sides are not really coming to an agreement on this, right? The right is threatening to start laying people off, not just furloughing people, but actually laying people off in the government the longer the shutdown continues. And the left, again, is using this opportunity to kind of dig their heels in and say, hey, no, we want these subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. And because of that, neither side's come to an agreement. Neither side seems to be anywhere close to an agreement. And now we're on day 7 of the government shutdown. Funding has lapsed for the federal government. And so they're laying off 40% of their non-essential workers for the federal government. And because of that, we don't have economic reports coming out. We don't have data coming out. At least government data like CPI, jobless claims, payrolls, unemployment. Like, we don't get any of that stuff while this is going on. And so, yeah, essentially we're at the helm of waiting. Yeah, I mean, Jeremy, I'm not even disagreeing with you necessarily. What I will say is that both sides of the political spectrum get a lot of PAC money from corporations. This is objectively true, right, if you look this up. And then they use those political donations that they get to influence policy, right? This is just objectively true on both sides of the government. And so I don't think it's as clear as that. I think it's a little bit more diluted than that. You know, but again, I'm not here to be super partisan. I'm very neutral on all of this stuff. I think once you get to the tippity top, it's all the same anyway. You know what I mean? Like, they're all working for the same thing once you get to the tip top. And I think you have to look at that objectively, because this is just objectively true. You know. Redbook showed up at 5.8%. 5.8%. All right, AMD at 213.80s here, 213.80s. NVIDIA at 186.80s. All All right, we're gonna be day trading the opening bell live. So S&P Global to expand its S&P Dow Jones Crypto DJI Crypto Index offering with the launch of SP Digital Markets 50 Index, which includes, I believe, crypto and other related crypto stocks. NASDAQ breaking all-time highs again up to 271s. Again, we are now up there to 273s in the NASDAQ. Gold is now breaking all-time highs as well here. Longer shutdown takes, the higher is the chance of no rate cuts in October, in my opinion. I don't know. People actually think the opposite, Gabriel. People actually think the opposite. People think that the longer the shutdown takes, the more likely it is that we cut rates next month because they have to go by the previous data if we don't have any updated data to come out, right? So if we don't have any updated data, they kind of have to go by what the previous numbers looked at, and the previous numbers were not good for the labor market. And so that's a lot of people's outlook here regarding rates, and that's why it's still 90-something% likely that we cut rates in a few weeks, is because most people are expecting that it's going to default to the previous outlook, which is rate cuts. You know, I might be wrong though. NASDAQ now dipping down after it got up to 275 here, and I think when you get to all-time highs, you got to look at big whole dollar numbers like 300 right here. 25.3 seems relevant. 275 is exactly where we stopped. If you look at where we stopped right here, it was exactly at 275, a $0.25 number. You can look at like 325 up here, but I think when we get to all-time highs, that's what you have to kind of pivot to in terms of levels. You know, 250, 75, 300. That's what I'm doing. Gold up there as well. Gold at 4,750s now. Anybody know if there's a catalyst for this market surge? Well, it's all AI related and tech related mostly. I think a lot of people are going based on, and all you can really do is try to find stories in the market, right? Try to find stories. For me, the story of the market right now is we're in a government shutdown. Easing is likely. I think AI and tech is bringing in big money, and that is causing surges in tech and markets. Markets are at all-time highs, and so buys are, you know, we're getting some buys stepping in to push us to those levels. Yeah, and I think that's the story. AI tech driving this push, and I think that's what we've seen for the last few years, is AI and tech pushing us to all-time highs. Yeah, please don't use any comments I've said about how we shouldn't argue about politics to argue about politics here, guys. It's all good. You can agree and disagree, and it's not the end of the world, you know. Not argue about politics here is unnecessary, I think. Maybe I started it, but, you know. All right, guys, so 275, we tapped it. Gold, 4,006. AMD and NVIDIA pushing us to all-time highs recently. Quantum stocks keep going up. Dude, quantum stocks are wild right now. Big money flowing in there too, but volatile. QBTS up to 37s. Rigetti up to 43s. None of that stuff, Matt. I'm not here to argue about any of that stuff. NASDAQ pulling back a little bit after breaking all-time highs. Let's see if it stops at 250. Yeah, I mean, the last time we had a government shutdown, it's buy the rumor, sell the news. So the last time we had a shutdown, we pushed down into the shutdown. Like leading into the shutdown, markets went down. After the shutdown happened, markets actually went up and rebounded and went very green during the shutdown last time. And so to be honest, to a certain extent, this is how markets have historically behaved during shutdowns. And so I'm not saying they're going to continue to behave this way. I don't freaking know. But yeah. NASDAQ runs 60% in the 5 months before the crash in March 2000. Yeah, maybe we do. I'm not here to argue we're not in a bubble. I'm really not. I'm not here to argue we don't crash. I think we do have some mirroring characteristics of the dot-com crash. You know, the dot-com crash was characterized by big valuations in internet companies and dot-com companies. Netscape IPO'd pre-profits and made billions of dollars, changed the standard of IPOs. You know, prior to Netscape, companies really didn't IPO before they had a certain amount of profits and revenue, really. After that, it kind of changed the standard of it, and we started to see a lot of big money grabs in markets where companies would IPO pre-profits and get crazy valuations. And that's what we saw leading into 2000, where companies got wild valuations. If they had .com at the end of it, it was kind of this big money grab in markets. Markets went up wildly. And then the check came in 2000, and we saw some of those companies started failing. It all kind of drove us down. Had one of the biggest bear markets in history from it. And I see some mirroring characteristics of that here. It doesn't mean we're going to crash. The internet was that big technology evolution as well, right? In hindsight, the internet is wild. They didn't think... They would make fun of Amazon in the early 2000s because they didn't think Amazon would be able to sell things on the internet like it wanted to. And in hindsight, that was a very dumb criticism of Amazon. And so I think AI is that next big technology. All right, here we're back down to 250s. I'm gonna try to buy this little dip here. Buying in time, I'm kind of slow here. I'm trying to buy this big dip in the NASDAQ ahead of it. But again, with that said, crashes are hard to predict. Everybody wants to be the next big short, contrarian people that make money on the short side, betting against the markets when everybody else is, you know, has their heads in the sand essentially, right? But that's a very difficult thing to do. It's not easy to do that. Most people fail it. Most people who try to do that fail, and the longer you hold those short positions, the harder it is. And so, yeah, I would just be careful. Markets might keep running. You never know. Yeah, I was hoping to buy 250s. We're only down like 60 bucks from this though. I'll hold it a little bit longer, but here we go. I'm gonna liquidate half of this just to protect risk management. It's still up about 600. You can hold the rest since it's small and not worry about it too much. Buy the dip, never quit. Yes. Coffee. Yes, I do. Right, you could be right about the crash, but if you're wrong timing, you know. Here, I'm gonna cut this. We're still up over 500. It's a big pullback though. We'll wait now. Gold still consolidating at these high levels. We got 14 minutes until the market opens. Yeah, we made like I said, we built up profits here. If you want to see, like we built up a deep amount of profits here. Like, look. Mostly profits. Buying dips. Eventually we got caught with a red trade, but I mean, we're very green today, so good. Eventually buying the dip ain't gonna work, especially after high breaks. When's Tesla's event, man? They're talking about it being an event, but I have a hard time believing Tesla's gonna do an event without any warning. Maybe Tesla's tired of the buy the rumor, sell the news dynamic of their events, right? Like a lot of the time Tesla will go up in anticipation of the event, and then when the event actually happens, it dumps. You know? But since they haven't scheduled publicly a hard time for this event, maybe they're hoping to avoid that dynamic. I don't know. right, so WTO says the full impact of the president's tariffs may hit next year. They predict sharp slowdowns in goods trade growth next year. You guys agree? Silver now rising at a faster pace than gold, according to an analyst. 13 minutes until the market opens, chat. They just released new FSD. Is that all it was? Are you sure? Let me look this up. I don't know. Most people are arguing that Tesla is going to be unveiling a Model Y, low-cost Model Y. So Tesla news might still be coming out. Yeah, so I see this FSD supervised version 14.1 now rolling out. You can now select when FSD select where FSD supervised should park at the end of your trip. Parking lot on the street, driveway, parking garage. Yeah, but you think that's the news? Is that really the news that they put out there? I don't know. I don't think that's the news that they're teasing. Gold just broke all-time highs, 4,009 now for gold. 10 minutes, guys, 10 minutes. Yeah, I saw the version update to FSD. I don't have a Tesla, so I mean, I'm not gonna. All right, gold tap 4,009 now, dipping down here. Oh, dude, I'm here with my hurt leg, guys. My hurt leg, dude. This thing freaking hurts. Torn MCL, torn meniscus, torn ligament in my ankle. None of them are full tears though, but this hurts. The day before yesterday, I walked to the corner, I put a sad song playing on my phone, and then I used my crutches to walk through my living room and just looked at my daughter, you know, put my head down and kept walking. MCL, not ACL. Yeah, from BJJ, yep. Yeah, if I'm not gonna milk it, what am I doing here? I told my wife I'm gonna get a little bell, you know, I'm gonna get a bell. That way they know I need something. Anytime I need something, I'm just gonna ring this bell, you know. I drive them crazy for the next month or so. She laughed. Yes, my MCL. The bad news is the meniscus, right? Meniscus is the bad news. MCL will heal, you know, it's fine. The meniscus is kind of sketchy, and so it tore a little bit. It's what's called an oblique tear. Unfortunate, but hey, that's how it goes. All right, guys, NASDAQ still pushing down. We're at 234s. It wasn't a, it was an Aoki lock is what it was, and I bursted the wrong way, unfortunately. And so heard a pop when it happened. It's surprising how much adrenaline will stop, because I felt fine afterwards. I was walking normal for like 12 hours afterwards. Woke up the next day, couldn't walk, you know. All right, guys, we got the opening bell in 7 minutes. 7 minutes. All right, gold's coming right back down to 4,000. Will gold bounce at 4,000 or flush underneath it? I'm really curious about this one. I almost want to buy it. We're so close to the opening bell. Like, buy the 4,000 test in gold. You know what? Screw it. We're trying it. I'll show you guys my risky gold trade here. There we go. All right, I'm gonna take more off here. A little bit more off. Did we just get an initial pop in gold at 4,000? Hey, we got a nice little bounce. I'm going to take this off. We are how long until the opening bell? Yeah, we got 5 minutes. So I might as well just sit in this and hold the rest break even until the opening bell. See if we bounce back up. Again, that 4,000 level, psychological. Get out of limit order right there. There we go. We're up 600 again. The opening bell. 4,000 just makes sense. Bounce level here. We got 4,000 level. Look at this right here. We bounced directly off of it. Psychological. Well, not if we're above it. It might be a strong bounce level here, but you guys red or green so far today? I'm green. 2 different accounts. Ugh. Up 13,000. Red. A resistance level. Yeah, but we're above it right now, you know. Like, it's one thing. It's one thing if we dip well below it, then it's less likely we're gonna move back up and retest it, I think. But it's another thing if we just kind of go like this, and we kind of fish around underneath it for a second. You know, usually the bounces are not perfect, like at exactly the same level, unless it's one of my levels, because you know, one of the greatest levelers. Right at 4,000 right here. But the point is, even if it breaks below it slightly, it's not gonna just go like that most of the time. Sometimes, I mean, there's variance, but it depends on how much it breaks down underneath a level. If it breaks down big underneath it, then it's gonna be probably a deep resistance level here. But if it If it just kind of consolidates around it, less likely to behave that way, I think. Right? Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm wrong, but. All right, chat, 2.5 minutes. NASDAQ looks like it wants to bounce back up. I don't know if it's going to. We'll see. Look at the NASDAQ dip. Could be the opening. Look at AMD rip up. So AMD back up to 216s here, chat. So AMD is moving up right now. Ahead of the opening bell. NVIDIA is actually falling down a little bit. Let me make sure there's no news. I don't think there is, but. Got the S&P launching the crypto index. Let's see what Tesla reveals today. All right, guys, we got about a minute left until the open. What are you guys trading at the opening bell today? Gold, NASDAQ, S&P? Yeah, I think the key word there is could. Tesla set to launch affordable Model Y. Story highlights Tesla could unveil its highly anticipated affordable Model Y at today's product launch. They're too secret about this. They're too secretive about this. Why? All right, guys, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Make sure you're fully caught up with the stream. Hit 2x. It'll catch you up. All right, guys. Here's the opening bell. Good luck. NVIDIA coming down. AMD pushing up this morning. Rigetti up to 44s. Ripping up at the opening bell. AMD starting to push. NVIDIA and AMD kind of moving in. Look at the NASDAQ dip heavy here. If it wasn't the opening bell, I would buy this right now. And yeah, there's the retracement. It's so close to the 200 exponential pullback level. And look at AMD and NVIDIA. Yeah, I should have bought it, but too close to the open. I got to do my own risk management. Tesla breaking down. It's at 443s. Alright, guys, Rigetti retracing a little bit. I gotta wait for the first 5 minutes to pass here. If the market holds now. We're now about a minute and a half in. All right, guys, so we're still consolidating here. I'm not really confident enough to take anything only 2 minutes in. Gold's now testing 4,000. Let's see how deep it breaks under 4,000. The NASDAQ retrace back up. Again, I really wanted to buy it. NVIDIA pushing up to 187s. Gold now. All right, guys, look at the NASDAQ rip back up. Gold's still holding at 4,000 here. All-time high is now 275. 275 for yeah, 275. Now we're dipping down. We're gonna be able to trade in a couple minutes. And now we're coming back down. Gold now under 4,000. Yeah, I gotta just wait and let this settle down a little bit first, to be honest. I mean, the range is still pretty tight, so maybe if we break out of this range. All right, now we're ripping back up. Gold now cleanly under 4,000. I wonder if it's going to act as that resistance level that we talked about, though. All right, we're now about 5 minutes into the day here. If gold stays under 4,000 now. Creeps up to 4,000. Yeah, I'm now shorting gold here. If it holds down, but NASDAQ still rip it up, so it might be a little risky here. Look at NVIDIA, guys. NVIDIA up to 187.50s here. Looking for like 92 in gold. There we go. Took half off. Go. Cut a little bit more in gold here. A little bit more. We're up about 700 on this one now. Get out the rest right there since take it. NASDAQ at all-time, right? 50s, previous all-time high levels. Projecting now. Yeah, I'm seeing quantum stocks start to kind of come down a little bit. See any news? S&P broke all-time highs. E-mini might be breaking all-time highs here. All-time highs are now what? 802.75 for the E-mini? S&P E-mini? Yeah, 802.75. Gold now moving back up to test that 4,000 level. Yeah, VIX is probably spiking because the NASDAQ tested lows, but still red on the day. Gold symbols GC and gold futures is what I'm looking at. Yeah, I mean, what the NASDAQ does, guys, most of the time it's going to depend on big tech, right? Big tech, AMD, NVIDIA are kind of in focus. Tesla, Apple, Amazon. Yeah. Amazon's ripping up today. It's at 222s. Apple's green on the day. It's at 256s. Meta's red. Microsoft's red. Most of those are flat, though. Google's slightly red, but tapped the previous closing price. Looks like NASDAQ wants to go green and break all-time highs again, though. NASDAQ still struggling to get over 250 here. Starting to dip. Gold's still coming back down. See, gold did exactly what we said, which is break down underneath it, move back up to retest it, and then come back down, right? Psychologically, that makes the most sense. It doesn't mean it's going to hold down here, but where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin breaking down. It's at 125 200s now. Continental has reached an agreement with the managers, insurance companies, and former board members in a dispute over diesel. NASDAQ now back over 250s. If it gets back over it again, I might long the NASDAQ here. All right, we're gonna try one contract, very small, very small. Just because it becomes, if we can hold over this level here, it becomes more likely that we test all-time highs. It's not super risky either, you know. One small contract will add to it if we're right. Here goes the NASDAQ. Holding at 250s now. There we go. Although we'll add to it if we get more deep in the green. I'm not going to add to it yet. If it can't hold, I'm just going to cut it for basically nothing. Gonna hold that 250 level. Still testing it though. Kind of battling this level now. If we get a dip down to 250, I'll add some more to it and then keep it very tight risk. There's the dip down to 250. There we go, we added to it. There we go. Take that risk off now. Hold this. Yeah, so we're flat in that position. Breakdown just happened too quick. I don't like this now. Let's short this now, I think. We're keeping it very small though, because this is a wimpy candle right now on the NASDAQ. There we go. Look at the candle wicks here. The retracements and the continuations are just tough to capitalize on. If I took bigger size, I could scalp some of this. But I would add, but I'm worried about a retracement again. There's the retracement. Yeah. If we reject 250 now, if not, we'll cut it. We're keeping it really small though here. Yeah, I'm gonna cut this. We're just chopping back and forth. Just be careful. This is terrible price action. I'm taking 1 micro because I don't trust this at all. Bitcoin's flushing down here. Look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin's breaking down under 125s now. Why don't you stream all day? Like the vibes here? Hey, I appreciate it. If you want me to be completely real with you guys, I don't want to. Look, it's just me here. Like, and we compete with some of the big networks, especially in terms of data releases, and that's great. But I'm not trying to sit around for freaking 8 hours of the day. What am I gonna do at lunch, bro? You know? What am I gonna do at lunch? Y'all expect me to sit here and do nothing while the markets are slow and boring? I'm good. I appreciate you guys though. Thanks so much. I don't like you guys. Maybe, man. Y'all are my internet friends. I appreciate it. Bitcoin, break it down. We're at 124.5s. NASDAQ's choppy. Bitcoin's falling. Gold's retesting 4s, it looks like. Nvidia's pushing up. Bitcoin is falling right now. Most of the time I'm here covering data for you guys. I know we only got 700 here. Usually we get thousands. The data's just not here because the government's freaking shut down right now. And so, boo the government. I mean, I boo the government all the time anyway, you know. But definitely boo them now. I don't even want anybody to mention jiu-jitsu right now. Nobody even mentioned jiu-jitsu, bro. Usually I'm watching jiu-jitsu videos on my phone and I'm into them and I'm learning different moves, bro. Ever since I tore my MCL and my meniscus, I don't even want to look at a jiu-jitsu video right now. Previously, I watched so many jiu-jitsu videos on my phone. My phone literally thinks I'm Portuguese. I'm Brazilian. They literally think I speak Portuguese. Like, they literally send me like jiu-jitsu videos in Portuguese, you know. That's how many jiu-jitsu videos I watch. I don't know how to make it stop either. But I don't even want to look at that stuff now. I'm mad. I can't train. Maybe I'll just get really good at Ezekiel choke since I can't use my legs right now. Alright guys, NASDAQ starting to bounce back up. Is Robinhood falling down too? I think Google is pulling back a little bit. Robinhood Yeah, Robinhood's fallen. I mean, look, Robinhood's up a huge amount, a huge amount. It's not really a reasonable expectation to expect something to just always go up. Gold now testing 4,000 again. It doesn't need surgery. It's just, everything's, there's no displacement and they're partial tears. So luckily I don't need surgery, but no training for months. All right, gold back over 4,000. Again, it's been a good day. I don't want to ruin it. I'm just going to wait for like a really good setup. This is some of the worst price action you could ever trade right now, guys. Just be careful. Range is small. Nvidia's still ripping up though. Look at Nvidia making a move. Wait, what did I buy this morning? I bought something. What did I buy? Oh, nice, dude. I bought, what did I buy? Dang, look at SoFi, bro. I'm in SoFi right now. I bought SoFi. What did I buy SoFi? I don't know. I bought HIMS. PayPal was up big today. I'm in PayPal too. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I'm in PayPal at 68.30. It's at 75. I'll take a little bit off of this just because I can. More. All right, I'm gonna liquidate a little bit of PayPal. Still holding it though. SoFi. I think I'm just gonna sit in SoFi. And Coca-Cola. A little bit off of that. Although they pay a pretty good dividend, but just yeah, I would just be really careful, guys. Again, check out Top Step if you want to help support the channel. No PDT in futures. You can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, Gold. Very similar to day trading stocks. No PDT restrictions, so you can day trade the S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, Russell, all that stuff live. Most day traders lose money, so it's a lot cheaper to get started this way than funding your own account thousands of dollars and let's be real, probably losing it. Most day traders lose money. And so it makes a lot more sense to try this first. If you lose 50 bucks per account per month. And so it's not the end of the world if you fail it. If you pass it, you get a 50K funded account, 90% split. They pay out millions, fund thousands. You get to keep your first 10K in profit prior to the split kicking in as well. So I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. Yeah, I did buy Home Depot this morning. Again, they're a sponsor of mine. I'm biased. I get paid by them. You want to confirm it all with them. I can't guarantee anything. Texting me right now. Sure. All right, Bowman is speaking at the 2025 Community Banking Research Conference at 10:05 p.m. in about 9 minutes. Tomorrow's a little bit busier day. I know today we don't have any economic data. But tomorrow's a little bit busier. This price action is garbage, guys. Fed speakers. Yeah, we got the Fed minutes tomorrow at the very least, so it's something to do. But Going back over 4,000. Let's see if that holds. See what Tesla ends up saying today. Yeah, I mean, I got my doctor to write me something like a peptide, like BPC 157, supposed to heal ligaments and stuff. So we'll see what that looks like. Robinhood bouncing back. SoFi ripping up here. Love to see it. Yeah, I gotta just be careful today. Again, check out Top Step. You want to help support the channel. As soon as we close the stream, guys, it should immediately bring you to tomorrow's stream. And so, again, I'm going to close this. Again, I expect you all to sit there and wait. If you don't, I'll hate you forever. Do it now. Hey, listen, check out Top Step. Beautiful way to help support the channel. Don't risk too much day trading. Most day traders lose money. Don't understand all this stuff on screen. I'm not an investment professional. We've had a lot of wins today, and the market's not doing anything, so I'm going to bow out for the day. Y'all have a great day. I will see you guys later. This price action is not good at all. Tomorrow we got the Fed minutes report. We got Fed speakers. Thursday we got Jerome Powell speaking. So we got some stuff going on. But I'll see you guys over there. Y'all good luck.